Rohit, thank you very much for taking the time to come on and share your experience today. I mean, this is here to, purely just help and inspire as many students as possible to, take the leap and take action, as Clementina said, right? Make something happen and keep trying. So, what do we want to do today? It's just want to kind of hear your story, right? Where you came from, where you're at now. I know a lot of your story because we've worked together one-on-one for quite some time, but share with everyone what do you do for a living? What's your 9 to 5, and kind of what you got you into real estate investing, man?
Okay, well, thank you and welcome everyone. So first of all, yes, thank you, John, for bringing me here. I feel privileged essentially, and feeling very high responsibility that you think I'm capable of presenting being as a student to can be highlighted.
Absolutely.
So definitely, feeling great about it. Little bit of my background. You guys, can probably imagine. I'm originally I'm from India, born and brought up in New Delhi, and studied there, worked there for almost 10 years into the software industry. And early 2012 is when I moved to US.
Okay.
It's almost like 15, 16 years in the US. I'm in the Boston region. Okay, sorry, I should have said that before. I'm in the Boston region, Massachusetts, and have been here all along. Have a beautiful wife with whom I joined this program, and she's actually one of the main drivers behind me doing this. And we have a kid, 5-year-old, turning 5 in a couple of months, son, and he's just growing too fast. So, typically I'm coming, as I said, I'm from the software industry, so I'm into software engineering. And my day-to-day or my full-time role, I'm a director of engineering at a mobile security company. It's based out of Boston. And as you can imagine, I have a team of my engineers who are working with me across different projects spread across 5 different time zones. So it's really hard to find time to do something else, essentially.
Yeah.
And that has been the case all along, all my life, like initial 20 to 23 years. Last year, I guess, 2023 was a little bit of a tough year for us personally, financially, and we went through some financial turmoil of ourselves. Things happen with everyone, and that's when we decided, okay, we have to, create some additional streams of income. We call it passive income, but essentially that is the thing. How do you reduce your reliance on just one stream of income and have some multiple streams so that you are always floating well. And that's when we started researching. I think essentially this rental property pro, maybe we came across somewhere through an ad and all. There are a couple of other products as well, a couple of other companies that we also saw. We met with a couple of folks, discussed about it, did some research ourselves as well, reviews and whatnot, and decided to take a leap of faith because real estate is totally new. I know nothing about it. Even now, I think I know very little about it. But yes,
You've come a long way. That's for sure.
I trust you on that. So we took the leap of faith, started this program in February. Essentially, I think end of January or February is when we started. And then, as you would expect, things started rolling on. We went through 4 or 5 weeks of classes and coaching and videos, YouTube videos and classes, everything. And then something hit us hard. We had a tragedy in India. We had to pause everything. Sunday morning, Sunday evening, we were on a flight to India, and we were there for about a month. So
you were there for a while. I remember that.
Yeah, so I think the why I'm sharing this is because this is how life pulls you back. You want to do something, it will throw something in your face saying, hey, you want to do this? First, take care of this. So that put us back almost like a month or so. We came back around early March, and then I think it took me 2-3 weeks to just get back into the mode of starting looking into the course again. So it is. But then yes, there was commitment that no, this is something that we want to do. There's a path going forward to that stream of income, the additional stream of income. And yes, I closed on my first property in mid-May. It was a rehab in Memphis. The rehab is complete. The property is right now listed on for rent. And
Yep.
and yes, I mean, I'll share a story about that. I just talked about it with John. But then going through the course, understanding the intricacies of real estate, there's so much terminology, so many things to learn. From outside, it just seems, well, you're just buying a home. That's it. Nothing else.
Yeah.
That's not
Yep. Little bit more to it.
a little bit more to it. Yes. So actually had two other offers out. One of them I had to pull out. I mean, it was a turnkey, but apparently it was not a turnkey. And there was
Yeah.
something required. When I went back to the seller, it didn't work out. So we had to pull out. There was another home we had an offer out for almost 2 months, I would say 50 days to 2 months. We couldn't get a clear title. So again, that had to be pulled out. That just happened yesterday.
Yeah.
So again, I mean, the part is, as I said initially, you go on a path, things will pull you back. They will,
Yeah.
somehow these are tests, you can say, that how dedicated you
Yeah.
are, how committed you are. And I think once you keep on showing, keep on doing this, I think that's what we are seeing, that the first property is listed on rent. Now there is a catch. Last weekend there was a break-in that.
There's a catch. There's always a catch.
There's always a catch. So somebody moved in, thought, well, the home is empty, they can just walk in. So anyhow, I mean, they are out of it. The house is back, cleaned up, back up for rent again. But yes, I'm positive about the process. I think what I've learned in past 6 months on the real estate, I don't think I learned in the first 20 years of
Yeah.
my professional career, essentially. So there is a lot to learn, and I am really grateful, to the team, like John himself, Tim, Rob. I have met with Ricardo as well, and all of them have been really helpful, very patient in explaining things, and that is one thing I admire a lot about this whole team, because they are explaining the same thing 10 times to 10 people every day. It's not a, it's not
We
easy.
get really good at answering the same questions over and over again. That's for sure.
Exactly. I mean, and yes, and sometimes, some people will have the context, some people don't have the context. So
Yeah.
identifying everyone's level, to what detail they need to explain, to what terminology I mean, it takes effort. It's not something, that somebody's just coming in and blah, 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 blah. It's not that. You have to put the context in place. So definitely, I think it has been a very encouraging, eventful journey, I would say. And
Yep.
journey has just started. So sure, I mean, there must be new people. There must be, people who have been with John for quite some time. But I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate, John and his team for helping us, trying to get to where we want to be. And
Yeah.
pretty sure we'll get there.
Well, we appreciate it, man. I mean, I share this with, as all my students is like, as coaches, we appreciate when you're out there taking action, right? And that's the biggest thing. Like, we love coaching, and when students are putting all of that coaching into effect, like that's our highest reward humanly possible. And you had mentioned something early on, like when you were sharing your stories, like your wife was a big driver in all of this, and I know you guys are partners. You guys run another little business as well too. Kind of explain a little bit, how that dynamic works between you and your wife while you're doing this, and she's supporting in another business. Like, how do you guys figure all that out? How do you guys work together and all that?
Yeah, so that is definitely the thing. I mean, as I said, in 2023, 2024, we had some issues. So we discussed about it, and I think we came to a realization that what we are doing is fine. So just for context, like, my wife has a small business. It's a sports fitness franchisee for kids, for like age 2 years.
Yeah.
It's for small kids, not for adults. So she has been doing that for almost 2 years as well. She's pretty much occupied there too. But we saw our kid grow from 2.5 years to 4 years, and we saw his growth, the kind of things that he's going through, and what we have to do to safeguard his future, to give him opportunity where he doesn't have to worry about this day job, essentially. That is the goal in our mind, that we have to
I love that.
set him up to a level where he doesn't have to worry about his day-to-day expenses. And he has something that he can build and grow. I mean, he wants to do this, he can do this. If he doesn't want to do this, he can, take the money, and invest in somewhere else, what makes sense for him. But we wanted to give him a better starting point than where we are.
Yeah.
That is the goal. And my wife, she's very much into this, that, I mean, there's a saying in India as well. I think I don't know how do I translate, but if you have to explore the seas, you have to leave the shore.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, okay. That's
So
great.
you can't explore the ocean or the seas if you are at the shore, because you always have
Yeah.
your feet on the ground.
Yep. You got to take the leap, right? Basically.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of another, way to motivate ourselves, that, okay, yes, we are struggling sometimes, but uh, that is part of the learning. That is part of the
Yeah.
and
That's the journey for
yeah,
sure. You have to get in that. And like for you guys, like, I want everyone to kind of hear this, right? Like there's, if you think about obstacles or what have you, but you've hit so many important pieces, right? Like you guys both, you're full time, right? IT. Your wife operates a business.
yeah,
You have a 5-year-old child, right? So that's a full time job in itself. You guys have, experience, a pretty significant family matter, and it's not like you just got to fly 3 states over, right? You flew literally around the world for a month. And still, like, because you came together as a team, right, and said, hey, this is what we're going to do, you were able to support each other and all that, and still find success, right? So, as you said, like just taking the leap, or you have to leave the shore in order to explore the seas, right? That's, you guys working together through that, you guys can overcome like all of these, what normal people would just feel as like challenges that it's already too much. I can't do any more, right? But you guys are figuring out a way to do more, which is amazing.
yes. So that's true. I think as a couple, there are days on which I am not very enthusiastic, or there are days on which she is not enthusiastic.
Yep.
So, but we have to keep each other's, back, and help each
Yep.
other, and keep moving. Essentially, that is the thing.
Yeah.
There will be
Yeah.
times when it is also good to take a break, because sometimes
Hmm.
get too much. So it's best to take a break for maybe 4 hours a day, whatever makes sense. Essentially, everybody
Oh
has
yeah.
a different requirement.
100%.
But yes, do take break, but keep faith in the process. I think that's what I would say. Like, if there is something that is there, people have tried and done this, then trust that.
Yeah.
And yes, I think things will start lining up as soon as they will see, as soon as the universe or the environment sees this person is not going away. He's still there.
Yep.
So
Yep.
they do start fall in place. But
Yeah, I love that. I mean, that partnership is key, and one of the things I always talk about early on in the training is like, hey, if you have a significant other, you got to get them on board, because this is the group thing. No matter who's doing all the work, it is still a group adventure. And with that being said, like for you, what are some of the challenges that maybe you didn't expect that you would run into in this process that you did, and like, oh, how did you overcome them, like anything that like stands out to you specifically?
yeah, I mean, I think some of the things are more, or the challenges are more operational. Think of it that
Okay.
way, because
Yep, that makes sense.
if you're doing a full-time job, I mean, and specifically nowadays, I think if people have been reading news, or hearing about all the stuff, it's no more a 9 to 5 job.
Hmm.
As I said, I have people in 5 time zones. So when do I start? When do I
Yeah,
end? Because
it's
I have
great.
people on all the 5 time zones. And so it's no more a 9 to 5. It's sometimes I have a call at 7:30. Sometimes I have a call at 9 p.m. I have to
Yeah.
manage that.
Yeah.
So, when I started, I kind of assumed that, okay, I mean, I'll be able to put a couple of days here and maybe sometime on the weekend, and manage through that. But that has been the biggest challenge, because work comes in, and that becomes definitely my first priority, because that is
Yep.
what core uh, you know
Yeah.
income is for me at the
Yeah,
moment.
for sure.
And that is what I'm trying to get better at, like that, not to be totally dependent on it. So that's one
Yep.
challenge, and then you get delayed on some other stuff. And then you also have to give time to your kid. I mean, I think you said it really well, that raising a kid is a full-time job. I mean,
Yeah.
now I think of it, yes, I mean, that is a full-time job. You have to give time to them, because as soon as you ignore the kids or ignore any time that you spend with them, they are just spawns. They will take that and they will do the same to you. And that
Oh
is
yeah.
really hard when your kid ignores you for even for a 5 minute.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's one of the things, I'm trying. Those are the challenges, like balancing all of those things from a from operation, from a properties point of view. I mean, there is plethora of like loads of properties available.
Yep.
Finding the right deal that makes sense to you, because based on what you can invest, from
Yep.
point of view, from finance point of view, that is another key factor. And I'll be open here. I think I talked to John that I was trying to build some automation around it. I have not
Yeah.
finished it yet, so I'm just not
You have a
getting.
lot going on. You have a lot going on.
Yeah, I'm just not getting time to finish it. But as soon as I have it, I want to share it with everyone, because that will help everybody. Like, that's a good thing. But yes, I mean, that has been one of the challenges. Understanding other people's motivation is another thing, because you are dealing with people. Yes, we are working in real estate, but at the end of the day, you are dealing with people, whether it's the broker, whether it's the financing person, whether it's the property
Yep.
manager, general contractor, and everybody has their own thinking, their own motivation. So dealing with different set of people is something, kind of, it's a challenge in a good way, because that is helping me as an individual grow. I mean, in my corporate role, it's like a controlled environment. So,
Yep.
people are respectful based on your level, and there is some kind of like a set standards of communication. But when
Yeah. Like a hierarchy and standards and yeah. Yeah.
exactly, but when you are in the real estate, everybody is at the same level,
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
that's where the challenge is, because you have to make sure you are trying to get your work done, but also able to, you know rely on that third person who's
Yep.
where you are not on the ground, and you expect them to do the job for you, in the
Yeah.
best way. So yes, I mean, definitely that has been a challenge, finding the right person. And yes, I don't know. I mean, I think that's what I would say. Like, dealing with people has
Yeah.
been, one of the biggest learnings, I would say. I mean, challenge you can, but yes, that's one of
Yep.
the.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I always say, in this crazy digital AI world that we live in, right? Real estate is still very relationship based, right? It's like, the better relationships you have, the better and more successful you're going to be, right? There's no creating a shortcut around, doing an automation or doing AI or what have you. You gotta get on the phone. You gotta have a conversation, and you gotta connect. That's the crazy thing.
That is the good and the bad piece, because good piece,
Yeah,
you are learning, and the bad piece is you have to manage it.
yeah, and yet it takes time, right? It takes time to have these relationships, and it's not like it's you want it to be super transactional, but you're like, I'm gonna need to spend an extra 10 minutes on the phone with this person to make them feel good, So it's one of those things for sure. Now, going into all that, right, knowing these challenges, whether it's operational or with family or just management, like what's for everyone who's just getting into it, what's some advice? Like if you could go back 6 months ago, right, and give yourself some advice, what would that advice look like that you may not have had?
Yeah, I mean, so my first advice is, I probably would go 3 years back, 5 years back, and say start now.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. That's good. I like that.
Right. So that would be the first advice to myself. Um, yes, the in terms of what you can do is, uh, go through the course, because that
Yeah.
gives a very clear guidelines under which
Hmm.
you operate.
Okay, I like that.
So it is not about following it down to the T. I think of course as a guideline, because there will
Hmm.
be things which will go sideways. But if you understand the boundaries, then you know where you have to push in or where you have to pull back.
Okay, I
So,
like that.
I mean, sometimes there are some courses, I think, like I think you had one on finance, which I went 2 or 3 times just
Wow.
to
Okay.
understand. I mean, it's like an hour long. So
Yeah.
I went through 2 3 times, because if the terminology is something that I don't understand, it will be
Yeah.
hard to have a meaningful conversation with a lender or with a broker. So go through that course again. I mean, I think that's one advice I would say. Look at the course. Follow through that.
I
And
kind of like that because basically you're saying like, hey, if you don't have a huge amount of real estate knowledge, like going through the course at least gives you like a foundation, right? And then you can go back and go through it more slowly and kind of put everything into motion. Okay, that makes sense.
yes, yes. So
Yeah.
that's. I think some of the items that you have covered in your course about finding the location, different metrics on finding the location.
Hmm.
That has been a real eye opener for me because I never looked at it that way at all.
Yeah.
If you remember, I think it was in the first month when I was going through, I prepared an Excel sheet where I had all the towns. I had like
Yep.
15 towns with all the
Yeah.
data, and then I had color coding into them, like, green,
Yeah.
red.
Yeah. I remember that. Yep.
So that is itself is a very eye-opening thing because, whether you do the item or not, it's expanding your knowledge.
Yep.
Knowledge, you never lose that. You always have it with you. Whether
Yeah.
5 years down the line, it will always be with me. So
Yep.
definitely that's awesome. That's also a way to keep it through it. And secondly, I would say, uh, you know, what I have done at least 2 calls of coaching, like either with John or Tim or Ricardo or Rob, initial 2-3 months.
Yeah.
I did 2 minimum every week.
I love that. And everyone needs to listen to that. One-on-one coaching calls make a big difference, right?
Right. I mean,
Okay.
even if you don't have a topic, you will find a topic.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
once you're getting to the call, like if I have a call on Tuesday evening, I know Tuesday morning, oh, I'm actually going to have a call.
Yeah.
Look for something. It could be either a property thing, it could be either a course thing. It could be anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But there is always something that you will figure out. Oh, yes, there is always an open question. There is always.
Yeah. Just one question will lead you to, 10 more, right? You just got to get it started. Yep.
Yeah. And one thing I would also suggest, and again, this is my own thinking, every time, be ready that you don't know an answer. Because if of the opinion, oh, I know the answer, then there is no point of having the conversation because you already
Yeah.
your mind saying, I know the answer. So always have that opinion, oh, I am looking for another answer. I think that's a way to just be open to feedback, to response, and a different point of view, essentially.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Coaching calls, getting that baseline for that education, especially if you're really new to real estate and just being, really open and coachable, right? So, even if you know the answer, right, get a second opinion, right? That doesn't mean you're wrong or that you have to change what you're doing. You could just see it from somebody else's perspective. And that's one thing, the longer you're in real estate, you're just building your toolbox, right? Because there's 1,001 ways to do deals, right? And you just always got to be asking questions because we just want to learn how to do those deals and learn those other options, right? So I love that. Awesome, man. Great recommendations. Now we got our first property, right? So we're looking to do more. Do you guys, do you and your wife have a goal? Is there like a number? Is there a dollar amount? What's the goal that you're putting out there for yourself?
Yeah. So the goal that we put through was not a dollar amount because, as I said, we are too new to have to pin down a number as such. But what a goal we have is to have 5 properties by end of the year.
Yeah.
And in July, we were expecting that will be 3 by August, but we are behind now. But there is still time.
You had a lot going on.
Yes. I think that is the thing I have accepted myself, that there will be things going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Me and my wife, we have to figure out how to make it work.
Exactly.
It could be that, okay, maybe some weekends she takes care of the kid and gives me 4 hours to focus on this.
Yeah.
Right? So some way to manage it. So that doesn't change our goal. Our goal is still to have 5 properties by end of the year. So that's what we are marching towards.
Love it. And then, so 5 properties, end of the year, that's what we're shooting for. Because I know your biggest why obviously is, helping create legacy for your son. Do you want to I would assume prior to that is like supplementing your retirement, right? Like that's the initial goal. And then obviously that creates a legacy for your son. Is that the main goal?
Yes, that is, it's like a step-by-step thing. Like I won't be able to create something for him in 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be long term.
Yeah, you have to be practical about it. So yes, 5 is the goal for this year. We'll see. We are at the end of the year, and then we'll revise our goals for next year. because we want to continue on this. One thing that I am also certain, to be honest, is we will have something more or something else added to what we are doing by end of the year as well.
Okay. All right. Like a new channel for income or something. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So I'm pretty sure there will be one more. So based on that and how much time I was able to spend, how much time she is able to spend on real estate and whatnot. So we will have a revised goal for next year. But yes, I mean, that is the path, that is the direction that that we have decided that we have to go. Yeah.
I love that. Cool. And I know we've kind of skipped over because we've just gone down this awesome path of like hearing your story and coming up with gold nuggets. Tell us about the property, right? Where is it? How'd you find it? What'd you have to do to it to get it ready? Was there a renovation? Like fill us in on the journey with this property so far.
Yeah. So I think this property, it's in Memphis, Tennessee.
Yep. Okay.
It has been, I have been working with a wholesaler named Marcus. I think people must have worked with them. Many people. Yep. So I actually was following up on this property for almost, I would say, maybe month or month and a half. Like, what to do. Okay. Because it was available. It was empty, but the photo showed that the property is in fine state, like not a best of the best state, but in like a fine state.
Yeah.
So I'd been following up, looking at the numbers, because so the first one you are always trigger shy, like oh, should I do this as the first one?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So eventually I decided that okay, let's go through it. Let's look at the property and put in an offer. I think the initial offer was like maybe 40 or 45 something, if I'm not wrong, 45,000.
Okay. Yep.
Then I sent my first GC in. The property was in a much bad shape than what it was in the photographs.
Okay, way worse.
Way worse. So yeah, I mean the roof was broken in a couple of places. There was no appliances. It appeared that it was like ransacked by somebody.
Yeah.
So, but yes, the photos were prior to it.
Okay. Yeah, prior to a lot of that damage.
A lot of that damage, yes. But then I looked through, talked to a couple of GCs to get an estimate in terms of like what the work is going to be, and how much time, how much money, and just going through, taking all of those data points together using our deal analyzer.
Yeah.
Plugging the numbers in, seeing what would make sense from an offer point of view, because yes, that 40-45 is out of the window. I mean, that's probably not going to happen. 45, because there was some rehab required initially as well, but it was not like
way less. Yeah.
So eventually, I think we looked at it. I made a new offer. I think we had maybe 1 or 2 rounds of like negotiation about it.
Yep, back and forth. Yeah.
Based on the photographs and the condition of the property, and we decided, okay, let's agreed on an amount, and we went through the whole the rehab process. The rehab, thankfully, was, I mean, the way I took the rehab was, it was materials plus labor combined. So it was not buying the material, because I mean,
that's great. That makes life way easier.
Way easier, yes. So I mean, it does leave door open for ifs and buts. But I think I kind of relied that, okay, let's give it a shot. Let's try it out and see how it goes. I mean, just putting faith into the system essentially that we had.
Yep.
I think it went well. Overall, the rehab was completed within like 3 to 4 weeks. Everything was
wow. That's a quick rehab for as big as it sounds like it was. Like that went really, really quickly. Yeah, that's great.
I mean, the property is a little bit smaller, like on the 800 square foot side, so it was not too big of a project. But yes, I mean, it went well. We had a couple of issues with enabling the utilities with the Memphis light and gas, and so I mean that kind of delayed things by, I would say, almost week and a half. I mean, they don't have appointments. Again, I mean, these are small things which now I'm saying, remembering, oh, we were delayed by 1 week because of them, right? It was not on our fault. But yeah, so overall that went well. We did the closing actually before it. So closing was smooth. Again, I don't think I had any issues during the closing. That was a smooth process.
Yep.
Overall, I think the system for the closing and everything is pretty good. It's your negotiation with the seller is where you have to rely on your broker, your realtor to actually do that.
Yeah.
So yes, now it has been up for rent for 2 or 2.5 weeks now. But as I said,
Good.
last week we had a break-in. So somebody decided the home is empty, they can just stay in. So
Somebody decided to move in
yeah,
without signing a lease.
without signing a lease. Yes, exactly. So they are out of it now. I mean, the property has been cleaned up and yeah. So the goal is to get it rented as soon as possible so that we avoid these kind of situations again.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, it's it's been up and down, as I said. I mean, it's
Oh
not
yeah.
right, but it's okay. I think sometimes uh, you have to just go through that process to know how to navigate through all of those issues.
Absolutely. And it's the first one, right? So, as much as you can prepare, as much as you can learn, as much as you can educate yourself, there's still going to be things that, no one can be prepped for. And these little nuances that you have to learn just by doing, right? So as long as the big things are relatively well organized, you budgeted correctly, um, the project staying on time, you're coming out with the finished result that you want, right? As long as those big things are staying in alignment, then we're good, right? So, and you've been able to accomplish all that. Now that the project's done, it's on the market, it's rented. We got through our little hiccup of the break-in. Are we celebrating this win? Are we doing anything to celebrate the first property, or are we just moving on to the next one? What are we doing?
Uh, yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm just waiting for it to be rented so that
Okay.
we'll actually have things completed end to end from a whole cycle.
Yeah.
Uh, but yes, I mean, one step other remaining is the refinance. That is a DSCR
Yeah.
I have to do. So I'm now looking at that. Uh, no special celebrations as such. I mean, I would say, I'm not a very expressive guy in general.
Fair
But
enough.
it says you're not expressive and your kid is also not expressive. I'm like, okay. But yes, I mean, definitely, we are. I mean, in I am hoping like this week it will be good. So next week we are planning a small, couple of weekend trip with a kid.
Oh, perfect.
It's summer here, so just enjoy the summer till we can, till this winter comes.
Yep, you're going to be shoveling snow before you know it. It's in Boston,
Yes,
that's for sure.
New England is notoriously famous for that.
I know, I love it. Well, speaking of that, just so a little bit off topic. Make sure before you do the DSCR, let me know. I'll get you in contact with some really good appraisers
Sure.
down there as well. So we'll get the good value on the property as well. So just don't want to forget that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Any like as we kind of wrap up here, any final words that you want to leave with the other students or the community? We will be sharing this video, but just wanted to get your thoughts if there's any final words you want to share with everybody.
Um, yeah, I mean, I think we've kind of touched upon almost the
Yeah,
all the topics in the journey. I mean, I think definitely I feel the overall presence of the group. I mean, what you have started, and the people that you have on your panel essentially. I mean, they all
yeah,
really seasoned professional,
yeah,
and I have never seen anybody uh, you know getting angry or getting pissed on something else, right?
yeah.
Why I'm saying that is because I always try to imagine myself in other shoes. I'm like, if I
Yeah.
explain the same solution to five of my engineers
You
today,
you'd strangle
would I
somebody at
be
some point.
happy?
Yeah.
Would I be happy? So I put myself in that context, and I think you guys are doing that an amazing job essentially for everyone. And on the other hand, I think it is up to the people to actually consume and absorb
Yeah.
what you guys are sharing. So,
Yeah.
and I've also, I think, interacted with some of the folks on the student side, and I think people
Yep.
have been, pretty good in understanding, working through it. But yes, uh, in the end, it's a process,
Oh
and
yeah.
or it's a journey. Like it's not an end that you do one property and you're done. No, that's
Yep.
not the goal. So it's
Yep.
a journey, and there will be bumps, there will be
Mhm.
disappointments, uh, help each other, seek help from those who are offering it,
I
and
love that.
I think in the end things will start lining up. You will see that. I think that's what I would
Yeah.
say. That's what I'm looking at as well.
Well, I appreciate that, and thank you for the kind words. I mean, I just created the platform. You guys as a community make it so supportive, and I've been very lucky to have Ricardo and Jen and Tim and Rob. They're phenomenal coaches with endless amounts of patience, as you said. They're probably more patient than I am, if we're being honest. So they're the backbone of all of this and supporting you guys and getting success. So I'm so happy that you've been utilizing them and been seeing that success with them. But man, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you on the call. I love seeing all your success, and I want to be a part of the next 10 or 15 properties. So let's keep it going. Let's get these 5 more by the end of the year. Let's keep having fun, and let's continue to build out that legacy for you. But I really, really appreciate you taking the time out of your day. I know you're, as we all know now, a very, very busy guy. It means the world to me that you take the time to do this, and thank you. Thank you very much. And we'll share this with the community, get everyone inspired and excited to just follow in your foot tracks, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, John, for considering me to be able to present here as a student that can be highlighted. I do feel there is a lot more to be done,
Oh
and
yeah, for sure. But
sure,
we got to celebrate. We have to celebrate the stage, right? So, you
yeah,
got to take a minute, stop, and say, look at where I've come from, right?
yeah,
I'm not anywhere where I want to be, but man, I've come a long way, right?
yeah.
And we need to celebrate that, because then that motivates us to keep going in some way.
Agree. No, appreciate it. Thank you very much for
Absolutely,
yes.
absolutely,
Job.
guys. Well, thank you all, Clementina. What'd you say?
I said, good job.
Yeah, he's done amazing.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes.
Awesome. You got all the love in the chat as well too. Lots of people, Clementina, Cheryl, Mark, everyone showing their love. I love it, guys. Everyone have a wonderful weekend. Again, Rohit, thank you very much for coming in and sharing your story. And I will talk with all of you guys later. Thank you very much. See you
Thank
guys.
you, everyone.
Congrats.